Hey, hey, beloveds, we're back once again for another episode of Self Discovery. And today we have the phenomenal change maker, phenomenal one and only Karen Alston live in the building. And we're going to be talking to her about her amazing journey, being the CEO and founder of Spectrum Circle, along with the Spectrum Circle Awards, and how she became who she is today. What does she do to take care of herself? And also, the big slogan through the life journey is, what do you do to take care of yourself and trust the process? Something that was big that she shared with me through my journey. And I'm just so happy for that. And we're going to talk more with Karen. Karen, you want to say a few things before we get into our affirmation?
I'm just excited to be here, excited to share my story and have this conversation with you. It is so important as women that we share and pour into each other.
Definitely. So we're going to go with our affirmation. We usually start with an affirmation before we get into the journey and see how that resonates for you. So today's affirmation says, I cherish every cell in my body. I cherish every cell in my body. What does that mean to you, Karen?
Oh, that's an important one because that means not only that I value my body, that I appreciate that I need my body to lead the life that I have to live. And so therefore I have to honor and respect my body. And that's something I had to learn. I had to learn to value and appreciate my body. And our body feeds off of us, our energy. It's spiritual, it's physical, and it's mental. And so every cell requires my attention.
Wow, that is beautiful, Karen. And a lot of us sometimes, we push our body societies like we're in this microwavable society, and we forget that, our body is the thing that fuels us. If we don't take care of our temple, just like if you don't take care of a car, it's not going to move. So definitely it's very important. So let's talk about your journey. Have you always, since you were younger, always seen this big picture of your life? Have you always been saying, like, I need to do something bigger than myself?
I had a spark in me from childhood, but I have to be honest and say that it wasn't something that came from my family. I didn't grow up in an environment where, you know, I was taught that I could be CEO of a Fortune 10 company. I'm a descendant of slaves, African American, and so the goal was go to school, get a good job, and retire, and that's the American dream, which most American families teach their children. This is no negative to my family. But I had a spark. There was always something inside of me. My grandmother taught me the gift of reading. And so I would read and learn about lives and people in faraway places. And that spark of reading is what ignited this thought that, oh, I could visit these places. I could have a life similar to the characters I was reading about in the books that I was reading as a child.
Wow, that's beautiful. Wow. I remember when I was younger, I used to just escape through the books. Oh my God. Do you remember Book It back in the day? Oh my God. I used to love that. No, I mean, that's beautiful for you to say, hey, as a kid, I'm going to take this torch and I'm going to create the life that I want as a child. Um, when you were going through your journey, were there certain things that you found that, what were some of the obstacles as being an entrepreneur, and transforming from being in corporate America to becoming an entrepreneur? How was that transition for you? Were there any hangups for you or obstacles that you faced?
To be really honest, my biggest obstacle was myself and fear. One of the things that I struggle with, that I continually struggle with, is fear of success, right? So, all of us have imposter syndrome. All of us have this sense of, oh, I'm not Elon Musk or I'm not Jeff Bezos, so therefore I can't run a multi-billion-dollar entity. And it takes time to develop the necessary skills to allow yourself to say, I'm exactly the same as Elon Musk and I'm exactly the same as Jeff Bezos. And I deserve success and freedom and the ability to create wealth for myself and others. So it took me a long time to get past that and to work through that fear of failure and the imposter syndrome that comes with being an entrepreneur. Corporate America was easy because I was able to lean into my talents and skills. And so therefore I was smart. I knew I was smart. I'd always been nerdy. So you can go in corporate, sit in a cubicle and work hard for 40 years. That's not difficult. A lot of people do it. It's just a normal part of our life. But to go out and sell your talents and skills and your products and services, that's hard.
And you do it so seamlessly. I mean, a lot of people, see the glitz and glam, but you do it. People outside looking is like, wow, Karen is doing amazing. She's doing amazing work. I mean, you've dabbed into film, marketing. You've done stuff with Goldman and Sachs. You've done a lot of big things, and also with higher education. Going through your journey in life, where there's some unlearning besides the imposter syndrome, unlearning, because sometimes our society says we have to be put in a box. You can't do multiple things. You have to stick and do this. Tell us about that. When people try to put you in a box, even though we have so many layers to us, what is your mindset when it comes to that?
I have a quote that I refuse to be average. And I don't want to be in a box. And I work really hard to stay outside of the box, to color outside the lines. And one of the things that I work on myself is to not box other people, because it is our human nature, to say, okay, everyone is from Italy, so therefore they eat pasta. No, that's not true, right? So it's being able to say that I value people and that we are multifaceted. We have different interests. We have so many layers to us. So of course we're able to do multiple things and have multiple skills. It's just that we live in a society that says, okay, you only have to do this one thing and you can only be good at one thing. And for some of us that are multi-hyphenate, we're good at lots of things. And so my goal is to continuously push myself to be a better version of myself every single day. And that's not easy. That's hard.
It is hard. It definitely is hard. And especially with the context of so many variables of external things in society, and then also some of the old ideologies of what society and our cultures and traditions have taught us, whether various religions or different things of that nature. So all of those stuff, and then trying to create new neural pathways in our brains, because years and years of this being ingrained in you, it's like really, really tough to like push against the envelope, right? Because it's like you're being seen that, oh, you're going against what we taught you. So it's hard, but sometimes you have to be that disruptor, in life. And when it comes to the Spectrum Circle, what inspired you to create this inclusive, diverse organization, bringing skills, resources, and all these different things to support women? What empowered you to do that?
To be honest, I was being selfish. I wanted to be inspired and motivated by women. I also saw so much talent, and as you said, we tend to box people in society. So you and I see it all the time. You see one or two women who win all of the awards, one or two women who get all of the accolades. And I'm not saying they're not deserving of award or accolade, but there's more than just one or two. There are tens of thousands of women who are extremely talented, who have great stories and examples to share with other women. And we need to learn from each other. As much as I love Oprah Winfrey or love Melinda French Gates, they're not the only two women who are out pioneering and doing great things for women. There are others. And some are just everyday, ordinary women living their lives who have great stories, who have overcome adversity, overcome challenges, overcome imposter syndrome, all types of things to live their lives out loud, boldly, and proudly. And I wanted to celebrate those women. And that's how the Spectrum Circle was founded.
Spectrum Circle is amazing. I want to say thank you for, creating that. I was a recipient of award this year, along with a lot of phenomenal women. And just going there in general, you just see different people's stories and it inspires you. And you can't judge a book by its cover, and we never know who's going to be a blessing. And I just want to say that, Karen, I am just so grateful for you and all that you do in the world. Um, when I was going through my challenges of imposter syndrome, when I was going to Georgetown, dealing with higher education as a Black woman, sometimes we are put in a box or viewed or, basically judged once we come through the door without them actually knowing all the layers of ourselves. And I remember you told me, Mo, just trust the process. You were like, trust the process, show up, do your thing. And when you get out, they're going to see everything. You don't even have to say anything. Just do what you need to do. And I want to talk about that. When did that slogan that you live by come to you, trust the process? And how is it relevant now in your journey?
Thank you. And thank you for that affirmation because it is my slogan. I struggled with imposter syndrome for a very long time. And to be honest, it still creeps in now and then from time to time because I would be in rooms and in spaces where I felt unworthy and I felt I'm not supposed to be here. And to be honest, it was at Harvard Business School where I had a really difficult time. My very first HBS class. And one of my professors pulled me to the side and said, "You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And all of the issues you are having are your issues. And you're going to have to work through that." And she was honest. She said, "Everyone's not going to like you, but that's the way the world is. And when you walk into rooms, you have to own it that you're supposed to be there. And the people who are supposed to find you will in that room. The people who seek you out will seek you out. Trust the process," is what she said to me. And in that moment, I was emotional. I went back to my dorm room and cried. But from that moment forward, I took the phrase, trust the process. And so that has been my belief that no matter what room I'm in, I'm supposed to be there. If I'm the only woman, if I'm the only woman of color, if I'm the only woman who's a descendant of slaves, if I'm the only person who grew up middle class, if I'm the only person who didn't have this experience or didn't go to this private school and didn't, not a member of X club, I'm supposed to be there. Because my story is just as valuable as everyone else's.
Woo! Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That's it. And for those listening, this is so important for you to hear because so many times we deal with imposter syndrome and it's hard, especially for women of color, with so many, targets on our back, just, showing up. So thank you so much for having the determination, the grits, the tenacity to just show up in this world, Karen, because like you said, it's not easy to do that. And moving on to the next question. The next question is in regards to what you do in the world. What do you feel right now in your life is your life's purpose? Because sometimes we do so many different things in our lives because society says we're supposed to do it. But what feeds your soul in this moment in your life right now?
So right now, and it's shifting because I've now added this global aspect to who I am. I used to be very focused on just women in the United States, women of color. And now I have a perspective where I see through the lens of women through other countries, other nationalities, other ethnicities. And there's so much that we take for granted. And I believe that if more American women fully understood how powerful they were, they would be a force that is just non-stoppable. Because there are parts of the world where women can't own property, where women can't do things without a man's approval, where women still can't have access to the things that we take for granted every day. I mean, we get in our cars and drive, and there are countries that just allowed women to drive a couple of years ago, right? So we take so much for granted, and we have an opportunity right now to lift the tide that lifts women. And as women rise, our culture and humanity rises.
Ooh, beautifully said. You're so exactly right. Man, we had Dr. Romnik on here not too long ago, and we were talking about some disparities that were at the UN. Like, women are getting weaponized with their menstrual periods. Like, this is sad. And we have so much here in the US that we complain about the smallest things while people can't even get access to clean water. So I love the fact that you're expanding this expansion side of looking at it in a different lens. Like, this is bigger than myself. This is I have to go and share my voice to lend my hand where I need to. Um, Diversifying your network. I think sometimes, especially as BIPOC women or women of color, sometimes we always gravitate, to our people, which is it's cool. But when you get to a certain level in your life, to be open to more resources or more eyes on things, how important is it to diversify your network?
So you're channeling my brother. My brother a couple of years ago got on me to do that. He said, "You've got to diversify your network. You're too comfortable," and he was right. My world was mostly women of color, mostly American women of color. That was my core. That was what I knew. I understood that world. I operated in it. I'd be at Essence now and going to different places and just sort of in this world where we were constantly seeing each other. You knew, where I could literally tell you where I would be, what month of the year. So if it was September, I'd be at caucus. If it were, I knew where I would be based on the month, the calendar month. And my brother suggested to me, he said, it's time for you to pivot. You need to have a more diverse group of people in your life from all different walks of life and all stripes and all backgrounds. And he was right. And so I started to pivot, and I asked to join groups where I would meet different types of women from all over the United States, different backgrounds, different experiences. And I'm so fortunate that I have done that because I've grown as a woman. I have a different lens to see the world through. And I have created incredible relationships with women who, have taught me, value, support me, cheer for me. And I wouldn't have had those deeply wonderful opportunities to learn culture and to learn different experiences had I not expanded my network. And it was uncomfortable. I'm not going to say it wasn't, but I'm happy for it. And I'm a better human being today for it.
Wow, that's beautiful. I think it's important, as we're changing and as we're growing. Sometimes we're so used to being in these same circles or these same segments, and it's good to expand. So, yeah, definitely.
We self-segregate. It's cultural. We do it for a lot of reasons. We're comfortable. We even self-segregate if you went to an HBCU versus a PWI, right? So we just self-segregate. It's just something that we do. And it takes effort to say, oh, I want to hang out with people who don't have my experience, who don't know anything about HBCU life, or who grew up in rural America as opposed to, I'm a Northeast person. I grew up, born and raised in Philadelphia. And I was sharing with a girlfriend the other day, because I'm single with no kids, that I feel like I have dated the same man basically for the past, 25 years because I was so comfortable in a specific type. And it's been that type since I was 19 years old. It's the same type, and that I need to expand out of that and think differently.
That is interesting because definitely this dating scene is very interesting. It's not the same, and I think sometimes we like I said, society, cultural context sometimes, brings us in, or what our personal preference is. And sometimes, you never know. We find love in the weirdest places.
And I'm so happy for you. I love seeing
Yeah.
the photos of you and your husband on Facebook and Instagram. And I have accepted, and this is a part of my own growth and healing journey, that the right partner for me is probably not going to come in the package of which I expect it to. And
Mhm.
so I have to be open to he may be from a different background, a different culture, a different ethnicity than I am, but the person who needs to love me the way I need to be loved is going to be different.
Yeah. And it will come. And they're gonna love you so much, you're gonna be like, wow, who was this? That's how I felt with my husband. I was not even expecting him. So, but things happen in weird ways. But I think it's divine timing with everything for in our lives. And the other thing is, like, you do so much for everybody, like everybody from family to friends and everybody. What do you do for yourself? What do you do to take care of you?
So I unplug. That's one of the things I do. I'm a Cancer, so Cancers, we retreat into our Cancer shell. I unplug, I read. I don't watch a lot of television. I do watch Netflix and Disney. So I'll get into a good series or something that inspires or motivates me. I also learn. I am one of those lifelong learners. I enjoy learning. And so, how I pour into myself is I'll learn something that I have an interest in. Right now, I'm taking the Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy luxury certification. And it's just fun. It's just absolutely just a fun certification to take to learn about the world of luxury and the super rich. It's just something interesting to undertake. So the other thing I do is I work out, I exercise, I do things. I like being in nature, so I'll go for a hike, I'll go for a walk. I love the water. The water is my soothing, calm place. So I'm always thinking about how can I get to, in front of, by, next to the water. And that allows me to recenter and have peace. And so those are the things that I do for self-care. And it allows me to be thankful. And my home is my sanctuary. I'm true Cancer in that realm. And so I find great joy. And my house has rooms in which I can go into. I have a creative room in which I just go to create and ideate. I have a library where I can sit. And I was just sharing with a girlfriend the other day that I need to spend more time in my library, which is full of books, some of which I haven't read. And so just to sit and say, okay, today I want to think about modern farmhouses, and I just want to sit and look at design books for the whole day. And so those are the things I do for my self-care.
Oh, that's fun. I knew I loved you for a reason. You're a water sign too. I'm like, Cancer. I love being by the water. So, and deep down, there's a big, huge creative. I mean, you're creative in content, but like you are artistic. Like there's this artistic design creative that so talk to us about art and what that means to you and just like your creative side.
So art is just the passion of my life. I love art. I love collecting art. It is an expensive habit to have. And so, you know, 25 years ago, my brother suggested that I start collecting art. And I didn't have the money. I was starting a business. And, when you're starting a business, art is not something you're going to invest in. And the advice he gave to me was to buy pieces that I could afford from artists that spoke to me. And so I would buy from local artists and people that weren't that expensive or didn't have a big customer base. And it is absolutely remarkable to me today to the artists that I bought 20 years ago that now have followings and do their own shows and have collections. And these are pieces that I bought years ago. So I love art. One of my mentors gifted me 3 pieces last summer, which is just incredible. And I'm so thankful. I'm looking at one of the pieces in front of me. if you come in my home, and I'm going to start sharing some of my home and some of my pieces on my Instagram. I'm going to start sharing that over the next couple of weeks. If you come into my home, it is filled with art, and each piece is just a part of, a different journey of my life. And I love sharing about the pieces. My most, there isn't even one that's a favorite. They're all incredible pieces, and I love them all so much. And so I have built this collection over the past 25 years, and it's time for me to start showing it. And one of the things I honestly need to think about is what to do with all this art, because art is meant to be seen.
Meant to see. You actually even went to Art Basel, right? Haven't you? Went to, you went to Art Basel.
I'm hoping to do an event at Art Basel. Like I said, the past couple of weeks have been a little stressful for me, but I'm trying to plan an event for Art Basel and an event for InvestFest this year.
Wow, definitely. I love it. I mean, you have your hands in so many amazing things, but all of it aligns with everything that you do. And it definitely, sends fire to the soul. So I love everything that you do. So if you could give any type of tips for people going through their journey, especially for women, BIPOC women or women in general, what would it be? Maybe your top 3 things, that really stick out to you.
So number 1 is to believe in yourself. No matter where you are, we are all pieces of clay. And so being able to mold yourself in your highest version of yourself, every day is not going to be the greatest day of your life. That's fine. But to get up every day and say, what do I need to accomplish today? What are the things that help me become a better person today, or push me toward the goal that I'm trying to achieve? I document my life. So it helps to document, because that way you can see your progress. The other thing I suggest to women is for me, I'm visual. So I have a vision board so that I can see what my goals are. And you're not going to accomplish every goal in a year. It might take you 10 years. But if you could look back at your life 10 years ago and say where you are today to compare to where you were 10 years earlier, you'll see your growth journey. So now how do you get to that journey in 5 years? How do you get to that next goal in 2 years? How do you get to the next goal in 1 year? And you continuously pushing yourself. The other thing is that you're worthy. We have so much stuff that comes at us that says that we are not, that we're unequal to, we're not supposed to, this isn't for us. You are worthy. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be cherished. You deserve to be told how great you are. And so here's the advice. And this is an important piece of advice. If you're in a situation where you're around people, whether it's family, friends, co-workers, whatever, where you are constantly told you are less than and unequal to, that you are not worthy, that you are not cherished, then you have to go seek and find the people who reaffirm who you are. And that's hard, because we put a lot of energy trying to convince other people of our worth. If someone doesn't value you, it is not your responsibility to teach them. It is your responsibility to go find the people who do value you. And that was a learned lesson that took me a while to figure out.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
And you know what happens? Because the universe is so incredible. When you begin to value yourself and you begin to shift and you begin to change and your energy shifts, those people who didn't value you, who were talking about you, who said you were unworthy and all of those things, you'd be surprised how many people circle back and say, how were you able to get to here from where you came from?
You better tell it. That's the truth.
So I go in places and spaces where I feel valued. one of the things I talk about, I show up as me. I just show up as Karen. And I pay attention to how people treat me when they have no idea who I am. I'm just Karen. And then I pay attention to how people treat me after they find out who I am. And if there is a marked difference, that tells me everything I need to know about that person and what they value at that time. So I just show up as me. I'm never my resume. I'm never my accomplishments. I'm never my LinkedIn profile. I'm just me. And I trust the process and I trust the universe that what I am seeking is seeking me in whatever room that I'm in.
Yes, exactly. And becoming Karen, that was this whole thing you were doing, and being Karen and finding ourselves. In the Yoga Sutras, it says that a lot of our suffering is because we don't know who we are.
I
And
agree with
and once we find out who we are, and really there's nothing, I say that we're not really broken. There's nothing really to fix. I think we just have to find who we lost, and that
that.
is ourselves.
They say the key that successful people have is that they've worked through their fear. It's not that they're smarter, it's not that they're better, it's not anything, it's just that they work through their fear. And like you said, it's us understanding that God gave us everything we need to live an abundant and fulfilled life. But we allow the world, family, peers, friends, everything else to beat us down and say that we're unworthy. And then we internalize that and believe that. And so we have to get past all of that in order to get to the other side to say, I am completely worthy. I don't have to have $1 million home or drive a $500,000 car to be worthy. I'm worthy whether I am, working through college, and I'm worthy if I run a Fortune 10 company. I'm worthy at all stages of the process.
Yeah, I have this thing when we do a meditation. I'm like, you're even worthy when you're taking a nap, or you're basically overwhelmed. You're still worthy. It's just that moment in time in life. Things happen. And I think sometimes with society, it tells us that we're only worthy if we're productive, and our productivity is basically the image of what our worth is, and that's not true, and it's hard, especially when we're always in this go society. If we rest, is like it's crazy. Why are you resting? You have to be involved in like this. No, I want to rest. I really value resting more than ever.
So do I. Right. That's our capitalistic, work culture that says you're just supposed to work so that you can make somebody else wealthy.
Exactly. But you're so right about like knowing ourselves, understanding ourselves and our self-worth. And I always say that, we are not born into fear. We're not born into fear. The fear is something that is taught. It's taught or imprinted in us. So it's not what we naturally are born with. So if we can transmute this fear into more of a discernment and letting us know that this is wrong or right, and trusting our intuition, fear can actually be a sidekick versus actually being a chokehold, to stop us from our blessings. How many times did you try to learn a bike and you fell off, and it was scary, but you did it? You learned how to drive, and it was scary, but you did it. You went and took that exam. It was scary, but all that anxiety, and you still passed. So we can do it. It's just getting over that fear, and it takes time. But just like Karen says, trust the process. When you trust the process and know that no matter what happens, we're going to be okay. What's the worst thing they can say is no? Then another door might be open, and maybe God might be preventing you from that door.
Exactly.
So
and gain experience. People are so afraid of failure, but failure gives you experience.
Exactly.
If you fail, then you never know what you were capable of. If you achieve success the first time out, the first thing, the first time, then you assume that that's what success is. But success could have been 10x what your idea of success was. So sometimes you have to fail in life in order to get through the lesson and to see that there's something greater on the other side. But like I said, we hold on to fear, and we hold on to that. And it's something we all have to work through. including myself.
Including myself too. We all have even as much as we work through it, like it's still sometimes it creeps up and you're like, come on, chill out. So we have to all work through it. And I hope that, we all take time to just also give ourselves grace, in our journey and in development. So the biggest question we usually ask is we always talk about tapping into the strength of the inner child. What would you tell the younger version of Karen?
First, I would tell her that she's worthy. But then I would tell her that I'm smiling. Her precociousness and her curiosity and her love of life are the tools that she needs in order to live a long, healthy, and abundant life.
Oh, that's so sweet. And we definitely take a moment to, we all ask everybody, just take a moment, we place our hands on our heart here and taking a moment to just breathe and just connect to our inner selves, our true selves here. And just sending some love to ourselves in this moment. And knowing that everything we need lies within us and around us. We lack nothing. And we are worthy at every step of the way of our journey. Thank you so much to everyone just checking in and showing up. Thank you, Karen, for showing up. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your wisdom that you shared to the world. I'm grateful for what you shared to me through your journey that truly helped me overcome some of my imposter syndrome during my journey. So I'm so grateful for you, Karen. You are a marvel, a gem, and I wish you nothing but abundance in everything that you do because you are a blessing to so many people.
Thank you. And I'm very proud of you. I love watching your journey.
You're gonna make me cry. Look, make me cry.
Sometimes we all need that. It is so important to be seen and told how needed your voice is in the world. Keep shining.
Thank you. And I just want to throw up this tagline, trust the process. You've heard it here from Karen. And if it's something to add to your journal today, to trust the process, to know that things will work out. We've been through our worst situations in our lives, but we still made it and you're still here. So there's something bigger waiting for you. And if you want to find out more information about Karen, you can go to www.karenalston.com, visit the website, follow her on RG to see all the amazing things. Karen Maria Alston. And then also you can follow IG at the Spectrum Circle to find out more information about that. And just, hit her up, send some love, and, check out stuff that she's doing. She's always into something amazing. And just send love because we all need like support and love. And next time, check out the Spectrum Circle. You'll never know who you're going to meet in there. You're only one person away from your blessing. You never know.
That is so true. Thank you. This was fabulous.
No, thank you for joining us today. You're a blessing. And remember, life may throw you a curveball, but you're always in charge of the direction it goes. Trust yourself. You already know what it is. And join us next time for our next episode of Self-Discovery.